Makhachev. Dude goes up one weight class, goes up to 170. He was the 55-pound most dominant champion ever, most title defenses at 55 ever. Just dominates at 170. Like, every round. People are saying it's boring, but listen, man, it's boring if you're a casual. The fact that he was able to do it every round, it was a little frustrating because you wanted Jack to...
Молодец, Islam. Дорогу отсюда идущие или бегущие? Что накидываешь?
He's a professional. This is the guy that you just wind him up, let him go. He's learned everything so well. You know, Islam is the one fighter that I don't have to worry if I'm with them or not with them. I don't need to work his mental. I don't need to work nothing. All I need to do is me and Habib, we just tell him what the game plan is. He'll execute it. And I've always said it time and time again. He's the kind of guy we can change round by round, minute by minute, second by second, and he'll just follow our instructions. I've never known Islam Makhachev not to follow Habib's or my instructions or the other coach, Steve Sapula's advice on how he should fight. He is the perfect professional, and he is the guy that deserves to be pound for pound number one.
To my fight IQ is second to none in this game. The more fights I have, the more people are going to understand and respect it. And I think that's why he's saying all these things, is he knows this is a tricky fight. And when he goes to bed and when he, just before he's about to close his eyes, he goes, this is going to be tougher than I think. And he can say what he wants to the camera, but to himself, internally within a team, they don't have someone that emulates my style. They don't have someone with these eyes. These are what makes this fight different.
Despite him being against the odds, because we know Islam Makhachev's going to be a favorite here, maybe, just maybe, the boys and co do it again. Okay? Hear me out. Strickland pulled it off against Chimaev. Gaethje just pulled off the impossible against Ilia Topuria. And you're telling me that I shouldn't pick Ian Machado Garry to defeat Islam Makhachev in the main event and school him over 5 rounds? Come on! This is how it works, right? This is just the way things go, folks. I don't make the rules of MMA. I really don't. But there's an underdog there. And his name's Ian Machado Garry. And he should lose. And Islam Makhachev's on this GOAT horizon. And man, if he wins this one...
Makhachev fighting Ian Machado Garry in August.
I think it's going to be a good fight. Ian Garry, it's definitely a tough opponent. Very good striker. But Islam, once again, his goal going to be to bring the fight to the ground. If he's able to do that, he's going to have an edge. If Ian Garry is able to keep it on the feet, Islam has the edge in terms of skills because he's more well-rounded. He can do it all.
Garry, Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, too tough for Garry. Garry has a good striking. I think on the striking, Garry, on the long distance with his kicks, he can make problem for Islam. But Islam has a good timing of takedown. He's going to take him down and most likely submit round number.
Nobody can stop this man right now. Nobody. That is the exact warning Joe Rogan just dropped after witnessing the brand new, unseen training footage of the pound-for-pound king, Islam Makhachev. The countdown is officially on, and the temperature in the welterweight division is hitting absolute boiling point. Islam Makhachev going head-to-head with Ian Machado Garry is a masterclass of a stylistic clash, with fight night getting closer by the day. The reigning champion has already shifted into full gear when it comes to his preparation. And you can absolutely feel the intensity building because here is the thing about Makhachev. He is simply not the kind of fighter who waits until the last moment to get himself ready. This is a man whose entire reputation is built on incredible, military-grade discipline. And right now, that discipline is on full display as he puts in the terrifying work inside his training camp every single day. He is sharpening every single area of his game, drilling his suffocating wrestling transitions over and over, fine-tuning his counter-striking timing, working on his reflex reactions, and pushing his cardio to conditioning levels that honestly most elite athletes can only imagine.
Сон трэш-ток от Иэна Гэри. Как бы ты оценил его в роли президента? В чем он опасен? Трэш-ток. Как может человек вообще трэш-током заниматься, который позавчера проиграл? Мне вообще без разницы на его трэш-ток. Просто может... В этом и есть польза, но это меня никак ничем не цепляет.
Вот есть из-за какие-то сложности в его стиле,
Да, у него сложный стиль. Постоянно убегает, назад идет, отступает постоянно, его все прижимают. Такой, не сказать, что он и зрелищный соперник. Есть еще вот в плане того, что для зрелищности боя тот же Моралес умеет бороться, тот же Моралес нападает сам. Но нападает это точно не про Яна Герри.
Вот Ян отрабатывает защиту от проходов. Надо ли тебе отрабатывать, я не знаю, стойку для того, чтобы, ну, в случае чего...
Именно да, собственно. Проходы надо отрабатывать больше. Я уже говорил и повторюсь, что это так не работает. За 3-4 до полгода невозможно бороться научиться. Да, этот Мандалена тоже очень много отрабатывал, кого-то привлекал, там весь кемп готовился. Ну, у меня были, не знаю, сколько, 5 попыток.
But here's the part that has really grabbed Joe Rogan's attention lately, and it's what makes this entire footage leak so fascinating. It is not just the physical evolution of his preparation that has people talking everywhere. Islam Makhachev has also been opening up about something that goes so much deeper than what happens inside the gym walls every single day. He has been speaking directly about his champion mindset, his psychological approach to dominance, and the mental fuel that drives him to keep going at the absolute highest level of this brutal sport every day. He has been giving the world this rare, chilling look inside his head. And honestly, what he is saying about the psychological side of his training camp is both fascinating and genuinely inspiring. He has made it crystal clear that this fight against Ian Machado Garry is not just another booking on a card. Not even close. For Makhachev, every big fight represents a step forward, another opportunity to cement his legacy, and another chance to write his name even more permanently into the history books of mixed martial arts. He sees this matchup as an important chapter in his story, and he is approaching it with exactly the kind of seriousness and laser focus you would expect from a champion who has sat at the very peak of the sport. So that leaves us with the big question that Joe Rogan and the entire MMA world are asking right now. What exactly is Islam Makhachev sharing with the world as he prepares behind the closed doors of his training camp? What is really going on inside his mind? And how does he truly feel about the unique striking challenge that Ian Machado Garry is about to bring into that octagon? Now, what makes Makhachev's story so genuinely compelling is that it goes so far beyond just showing up and putting on great performances inside the cage. This is a man who has thought long and hard about his journey, and when he speaks about it, you can tell that every single word is coming from a place of real reflection and lived experience. As a dominant champion, Makhachev has reached heights that very, very few fighters ever get to experience. But when he looks back at how it all started in Dagestan under Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, he is quick to point out that his belief in himself did not arrive all at once in some big, dramatic lightning bolt moment. It was not like he woke up one morning and just decided he was going to be the best fighter on the planet. That is not how it worked for him at all. Instead, his confidence and his self-belief grew slowly, steadily, and organically over time. And here's where it gets interesting because he has spoken about how the real turning point for him came all the way back during his amateur days. Think about that for a second. At a time when most young fighters are still figuring out the basics and trying to find their footing, Makhachev was already holding his own against full professional fighters. He was beating men who had real experience, real training, and real careers in combat sports. And he was doing it as a young amateur. That right there was the moment something clicked inside his mind. That was when he quietly realized, without any fanfare and without any noise, that he genuinely had what it takes to go all the way to the top of the UFC. And there is something really important to understand about what that moment actually meant for him. He was not thinking about money. He was not looking at fighting as a career move or a path to fame and financial success at that point in his life. No, this was purely about the sport. This was about testing himself, about pushing himself, and about seeing just how far his raw, elite abilities could actually take him. The ambition came first, and everything else followed later. And honestly, that kind of purity of purpose is incredibly rare in modern sports. It tells you a great deal about exactly who Islam Makhachev is as a competitor, because his rise to the top was never something that happened overnight. It was built brick by brick through years of extreme patience, through countless hours of grinding training, through losses that taught him hard lessons, and through wins that gave him real confidence. He had the support of a world-class team around him, and he had that intense personal drive to make use of every single resource available to him. Nothing was wasted. Every experience, whether it was good or whether it was difficult, got turned into weaponized knowledge that made him better and more complete as a fighter. And that patience, that is truly the thing that sets Makhachev apart from so many others in this sport. In a world where everybody wants instant results and immediate gratification, this man took the long, brutal road. He was willing to wait. He was willing to keep working even when the big opportunities had not yet arrived. And he was willing to trust the process even when progress felt painfully slow. Results and immediate gratification. This man took the long, grueling road. He was willing to wait. He was willing to keep working even when the big title opportunities had not yet arrived. And he was willing to trust the process even when progress felt painfully slow. And that precise mindset, more than any single technique, more than any physical attribute, is exactly what turned him into the dominant force he is today. So now, standing at the absolute top of the welterweight division and preparing for yet another massive legacy challenge, Makhachev carries all of that championship experience with him. Every grueling camp he has ever been through, every dangerous opponent he has ever faced, every hard round he has survived in Dagestan, all of it has added another tactical layer to the fighter he has become. And when he steps into that octagon against Ian Machado Garry at UFC 330, all of that history is going to be right there with him, quietly working in his favor. Now, do not get it twisted. Ian Machado Garry, for his part, is absolutely no pushover. This is a young, completely undefeated, and technically brilliant striker who carries real knockout power and who has looked seriously impressive in his dominant performances so far, especially coming off massive victories over Belal Muhammad and Carlos Prates. He believes in his striking system completely, and he is not walking into this Philadelphia title fight with any kind of doubt or hesitation whatsoever. He has made it very clear that he thinks he has exactly what it takes to go in there, utilize his massive height and reach advantages, and pull off one of the biggest upsets the sport has seen in recent memory. And you know what? That kind of unshakable attitude deserves respect, and it is a massive part of what makes this championship matchup so genuinely exciting on paper. But standing across from him will be a pound-for-pound king who has been in absolute wars, who has been tested at the highest possible level against the best on the planet, and who has come through victorious every single time. Makhachev is simply not the kind of fighter who gets rattled by external confidence or by big media talk. He lets his violent work do the talking, and his work has been speaking very, very loudly for a very long time now. The elite combination of his suffocating wrestling, his masterclass grappling, his absolute ground control, and his ever-improving striking makes him one of the most complete mixed martial artists in the entire world today, regardless of weight class. So, the real burning question heading into this UFC 330 main event is whether Garry can find a tactical way to keep things standing long enough to actually use his movement and his speed, or whether Makhachev will be able to drag him down into that kind of uncomfortable, high-pressure territory where the champion becomes almost impossible to beat. That right there is the ultimate tactical puzzle sitting at the very center of this matchup, and it is one that fight fans all around the world are absolutely locked in on right now. So now we want to bring it all back to you because as we count down to these two elite forces colliding at the absolute peak of the division, we genuinely want to hear from you. What is your honest take on how this unfolds? Do you believe that Islam Makhachev is simply operating in a class of his own right now and that another dominant, statement-making defense is right around the corner? Or do you think that Ian Machado Garry has the precision, the length, and the tactical game plan to walk into that octagon and genuinely shake up the entire world in a way that nobody is expecting? Because this is one of those rare, high-stakes fights where the conversation before the main event is almost as intense as the fight itself. And your community prediction truly matters here. So go ahead and drop your exact predictions down in the comments section and let the rest of the community know exactly where you stand. We want to see who you are backing. We want to know how you think it ends, and we want to hear what round you are putting your money on. And if you enjoyed breaking down this new training footage with us today, please take just a second to smash that like button because it genuinely helps the channel out way more than you might think. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss any of our upcoming UFC 330 coverage. And go ahead and tap that notification bell so you are always the very first to know the moment we drop a brand new MMA breakdown. We have got a whole lot more deep dive tape analysis on the way.